What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to replace your OEM steering wheel on your Can-Am X3 with a leather wrapped aftermarket steering wheel. Now there's many brands to choose with, so don't worry about using this specific brand. I'm going to show you guys what you need to know about replacing the steering wheel, going with the brand that you like and the steering wheel that you prefer, and what components you're going to need in order to get that done. So first off, you're going to need a hub. The hub is probably one of the most important parts because although this is universal to most vehicles and this is universal to most vehicles, the hub is going to be specific for what you have. So in my case, I have a Can-Am X3 and this is a specific hub for the Can-Am X3. They make hubs for Polaris razors, they make hubs for all different sorts of companies. You're just gonna have to find the one that works for you. In this case, this one is by NRG, and they also happen to make the quick release system and the steering wheel in this case. So before we get started, I wanna mention that you can get a Sparkle steering wheel, a Momo steering wheel, an Assault steering wheel, many different brands of steering wheels as long as they use a universal 6-point mounting location here, and you can use that on this quick release. So this quick release is a NRG quick release. This is a very common quick release around the racing community and off-road community. The quick release that Assault uses is very similar to this, but except it doesn't have these winglets here. This is the one I chose. It was only about 110 bucks. All this stuff I'm gonna leave links in the description. I'm also gonna leave links to where you can find Assault's version of these components on the UTV Source website. So whatever components you use, they're all gonna work. This is gonna be the same exact process for all of them. You're gonna install a hub, you're gonna install the quick release, and you're gonna install a steering wheel. So if you use an Assault steering wheel will actually work with this quick release. If you use this steering wheel on Assault's quick release, that will also work. It's all just gonna be different components that you choose and what you prefer. So this hub here is gonna leave the steering wheel actually very close to stock length as far as how close it is to you. I know the Assault steering wheel will push you out at least another 2 inches. So if you want the steering wheel to be closer to you, use the Assault hub. If you want the steering wheel to be in a very close to factory location, you're gonna want to use this NRG short hub. So that's one thing to know. So when it comes to the quick release that Assault uses is very similar, and either one is good. Now the reason I like this hub is because it's got grooves on the back for your fingers, so when you grab a hold of it and you push a button, you can release it just like that. So this quick release comes with this back plate, and this back plate is what it snaps onto. You can see the indentations where the ball bearings ride on or where they lock onto. We're not going to use this in this case because the short hub has it built in. So this is going to pretty much snap into this guy just like that. On the Assault hub, the hub sticks out a little bit more, and then you have to bolt this onto the Assault hub. Now I'll leave a picture right around here of the Assault hub so you guys can take a look at that. Again, the Assault hub will push it about 2 inches out, which if you want that, right on, grab it, because I know a lot of race cars out there, a lot of racers, they actually want the steering wheel closer to you because you have less reaction time as far as, you know, turn the steering wheel. So it could be good. In this case, I'm not racing the car, I just want it to be in a stock location, so we're using the NRG hub. So we're not going to use this one. Put that back in the box. So this is what's going to bolt on to the steering shaft, and then the hub is actually going to be bolted onto the steering wheel, and then this will be snapping onto here for the quick release. The steering wheel that I'm using is an NRG steering wheel. Now normally I would not recommend the steering wheel. NRG, although the hubs are great and the quick releases are great, there actually have been issues in the past, at least from my research, of the steering wheel is actually snapping. So if you're racing this car, I recommend you get a Sparkle. In this case, I got one of the reinforced models. So this is an NRG reinforced steering wheel, and I put all my weight on it earlier and it didn't bend. And I'm gonna try it again once it's on the car. So the steering wheel seems to be pretty stiff, but there was older generations of steering wheels that did have issues. But luckily, this one seems to be a lot better. But with that said, choose a steering wheel that you want. So you can use this quick release, this hub, and the steering wheel, choose whatever you want. Sparkle, Momo, Assault, Dragonfire, PRP, all the steering wheels will work on this quick release. So before we pull off the steering wheel on the car, I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this guy to this guy just like that. Alright, so they do supply you with the screws. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this together, and I'm gonna show you how it's supposed to be aligned. Now remember, you don't have to tighten these up all that much. They are just Allen heads. I mean, it's probably easy to strip out. I would guess it's probably no more than freaking 10 foot-pounds. Like seriously, you don't have to crank on them that much. There's 6 of them. They're not gonna break off. Just snug them up and you'll be fine. All right, so let me show you guys how this is supposed to be aligned. So the center bolt at the very top of the steering wheel should line up with the logo. On this one is going to be the NRG logo. The quick release button or the lock button is going to be off to the side just slightly. And that's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. So don't worry if yours is not centered. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. So then the hub will come from behind.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
And the hub would also be aligned with the logo. So that one says NRG Innovations. And let me pull the sleeve back on this.
Giggity.
And this one should pop in as soon as I push it in.
Giggity, giggity.
All right, so the next step is removing the steering wheel. You're gonna want to take this dust cap off. Now the next step is gonna be removing the nut from the center of the steering wheel, and you're gonna need a 24mm or 15/16 to get that off. They're not on there that tight, so you can use a hand ratchet. So you're gonna want to grab your nut, put it back on, and thread it on a couple threads. Because the next step is going to be removing the steering wheel, and you don't want to pull it all the way off because then you're going to lose the center. So keep it kind of center as possible. I use my knees to kind of force the steering wheel out and then force it from the top and just go back and forth. It's going to be on there pretty tight. There we go. So there, that popped off. And I made sure that the nut is still on there to keep it from coming all the way off and me losing center from moving it. Looks like it's dead center right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the nut off. So when you get your hub, whether it's an Assault or an NRG, you have to find the center line. On this case, this NRG hub has a dot in the back, which also lines up with the logo. So all I gotta do pretty much is line it up with the logo. The dot seems to be in between these two indentations. So for me, that's gonna be my center mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the steering wheel, put that to the side, and then we're gonna line it up. Just like that. That looks straight to me. We're gonna put on the nut. Uh-oh, that ain't gonna work. All right, so I just found out the nut, it's in there tight fit, so you're gonna have to use a pretty thin wall socket. So this is a 15/16 thin wall socket for removing lug nuts on vehicles, and this actually works okay. Barely fits, but it's gonna work. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this up, not too tight. All right, so right there you can see that the nut is almost bottomed out, but it hasn't bottomed out. There's a little bit play going back and forth, and that's okay. You want that because the next step is putting the steering wheel on the car, taking it down the road, and verify that for sure the steering wheel is straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. And then if it is straight, we'll bolt it down completely. If it's not straight, then you're gonna have to turn it one spline to the direction it's gonna be. So if you're off to the left a little bit, grab the hub and move it to the right one spline, and then check it again, and if that's good, then you can finish it off and tighten it down. Because once you tighten this down, you saw how difficult it is to get the steering wheel, and that's with leveraging. This one, you're not gonna have any leverage, and you're gonna need a puller to get this off. So I don't want to deal with that. So I want to make sure it's on the correct way the first time. You don't want to have to pull this back off. All right, so before I put the steering wheel on, I want to show you guys this steering wheel. The OEM steering wheel is about 12.5 inches from side to side. This one happened to be about 13 1/4, I believe it was. So it's a little bit bigger. You could tell here, it's a tiny bit bigger. It kind of shows off to the sides. So it's not a big deal. It's actually, I'm kind of excited for it being a little bit bigger. Maybe it'll give me a little bit more leverage when I'm turning, or maybe not, who knows. So in case you guys were wondering, the logo that was here, I transferred it over to the steering wheel. It's just on there with some adhesive. I kind of just peeled it off with a screwdriver, and then I slapped it on there. It's not a perfect fit. You can see how it kind of overlaps a little bit, but I put it on their center, and it actually looks pretty good. It's a dead button though, so the button's not going to work because the horn contacts are not going to be there, but it still looks pretty cool, and I don't mind it. All right, so this hub should be centered, and you just got to line it up like that, and it should snap into place just like that, and there it is. All right, so in order to pull the steering wheel off, all you gotta do is depress the button and then pull the sleeve, and that's it. The steering wheel comes off. Now you shouldn't have to worry about this coming off while driving because it has that double lock system. So this button has to be depressed in order to pull the sleeve all the way in order to get this off. So what I was talking about earlier of this self-indexing, if you put the steering wheel on like this, it'll push on, but it hasn't locked yet. And once you turn it to the correct spot, it'll lock. So So you can hear the audible lock, you'll know it's secure, and you know you'll be fine, you know? Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this down the street. Remember, my hub is still just a tiny bit loose, and it's not gonna come off on me. It's just the nut is not completely tight. I'm gonna take it down the street, go on the center of the road, and make sure the steering wheel is not off to one side. If it is, I gotta pull that nut off and move the hub one spline over, and then try it again and see how that does. So this is the aftermarket steering wheel position. Hopefully it gives you guys an idea of how much it pushes it out. It's not a lot because of that short hub. Now keep in mind, the Assault steering wheel hub will push it out probably approximately another 2 inches. And also depends a lot on the steering wheel you get. If you get a flat steering wheel like this one, it's not going to push it out as much. If you get a steering wheel that's dished and the mounting location is in deeper, that's going to push the steering wheel out even more. So for me, this is perfect. I wanted it more OEM than anything else, and right there I think is in a good spot. And actually it looks OEM with the little Can-Am button. So we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and drive it. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. So pretty much this is a cool little setup, and I'm gonna leave links in the description to all the NRG products that I use on Amazon. If you want to use the Assault products, which the steering wheel is probably better quality, the hub and the quick release are going to be pretty much the same, just a little bit different designs. But if you want to use the Assault stuff, go ahead and use the UTV source links that I have in the bottom. I do get a kickback, and it does help me to buy more parts so I could make more videos. So until next time, thanks for watching. Last thing I wanted to note, this is actually an awesome anti-theft device. They actually also sell locks that go over this. I'll put a picture here so you guys can check it out. And yeah. So if you use the NRG hub, you won't need this plate that comes with the quick release. If you use the Assault hub, you will have to bolt this onto the Assault hub. But since we are not using the Assault hub and we have the NRG hub that already has the indentations for the quick release, we can use this for something else. And I'm gonna show you that right now. Alright, so I know it's a little dark in here, but when you're done riding for the night and you're out in the middle of the desert and you don't want your steering wheel getting scratched up, this is what you do with your extra hub. And there it is. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.